He was human being like us.
Eh?
How can I convince him he was human being?
How could he convince you?
Well, I mean,
If
he
you make
insists,
any claim, any bizarre claim, the person who makes a bizarre claim against nature, the onus of proof is with him, not with the one who listens to such rubbish. So the proof does not lie upon you at all. You ask him, prove.
No, his answer was he was pious, he was not sinner.
No. What do you mean by his answer was? What I am asking you is, what proof did he render to you regarding a claim which was unnatural and which was a bizarre and apparently absurd claim?
His answer
Because
was Rahmatul Alameen. This was his answer.
only you can tackle him and he can tackle you. Please count me out. Thank you.
Sorry, Hazrat. Yes.
And the third question?
Hazur, in the Holy Quran, Hazrat Isa has been mentioned as Isa ibn Maryam,
Right.
and Isa as on its own. Why distinction of Isa ibn Maryam? That's the only prophet his mother is mentioned.
Right.
What is the reason for this, please?
Because he was the only prophet, the character of whose mother was questioned. And the Holy Quran decided to establish the purity and chastity of that mother. So if the chastity of other mothers of the prophets had also been questioned, the Holy Quran might have mentioned them. I'm quite certain. The Holy Quran must have mentioned them. You know, by the way, the previous discussion of your question, the issue of that question about the shadow.
Yeah.
I'll tell you something which I remember I confronted once during my tabligh as a child in a Sikh village. During those days, in tabligh days, there used to be Yom Tabligh. All old and young people, boys, children, everybody tried to participate and go out. And we fanned out to all the adjacent, near and sometimes far, distant villages around Qadian. So I remember having gone to a Sikh village, and there I started preaching them, I attracted quite some crowd. So one of the Sikhs addressed me and said, "Look here, why are you wasting time? Surely you are wasting time, nothing more." I said, "Why?" He said, "Because I can prove that Mirza Sahib was not a guru." I said, "All right, prove it to me." He said, "All right, first you answer my questions." I said, "Okay." He said, "Did he have a bone in his body?" I said, "Of course, many bones, like ordinary human beings." "So you confess he was full of bones like other human beings?" I said, "Yes, I do." He said, "Gurus have no bones." He said, "They have no bones." I said, "If they do have no bones, on what does the flesh stand, and how does the whole frame appears to be erect without a bone?" He said, "You don't understand. It looks like as if they have bones, but they don't have bones." I said, "Then I amend my statement. As far as Masih Maud is concerned, he looked like having bones." So this issue, debate was very similar to the debate you were holding with Jazakallah.
Assalamu alaikum, sir.
Wa alaikum assalam.
Sir, I have an observation and a question related to it.
Okay.
I saw recently that there was a crime being committed, and I happened to be watching, and there were a few other people as well watching.
Pardon?
A crime being committed, and other people were also watching, and I was watching as well. The general advice is that when you see something like this, do not intervene,
Right.
because it's a possibility, it's dangerous. What I would like to know, should we, at this kind of a situation, make our own judgment, or is there any religious responsibility that we must exercise at that time?
You see, the religious responsibility is only that much that if you can prevent a bad thing from happening, you should prevent. But the question is, how will this apply in the situation prevailing in America, in Europe, etc.? I remember when I was in America in 1978, an Ahmadi advised me, if ever I saw something happening which I didn't like, and I should not at all attempt to save an innocent man from the, for example, excesses of somebody else. Just, remain concerned with yourself and no more. I said, why? He said, because the crime here has become very complicated. He told me of an incident whereby somebody was beating a woman most horribly and mercilessly. Apparently, he was, I said apparently because what's to follow that proved. And she was shrieking and asking for help, and nobody was helping. Suddenly, somebody went forward and had picked up a fight with the husband, so-called husband, and brought him to, controlled him, and ultimately he stopped doing it. But then both complained that, the wife complained that, look here, all you become witnesses, this man has beaten my husband. But why did he have to interfere? It was a private row. And in court, this poor innocent interferer was fined to the tune of $100,000 or more for creating public menace. So how do you know some case is genuine and some is not? And he told me that these things have happened not only once, many a time, with the result that people have lost faith in trying to prevent crime. Again, he told me of some other incidents where organized crime is taking place by trying to involve innocent people in some quarrel or some skirmish, etc. And thereby, when they do, then those Hondas and the wanton people who are awaiting their chance, they suddenly crowd and beat him up in that melee and rob him of all his possessions. So this is also organized. So again, there are some states which do not support, or let's say encourage people to interfere in such matters, and it is considered to be taking law into your own hands. If anything untoward happen, then this person will be held responsible in the sight of law. Why did you poke your nose? Why didn't you interfere in something which did not directly relate to you? So all these things have discouraged the people who are chivalrous. There was a time in the history of England where chivalry was very much supported and promoted. In fact, all the novels written during that period revolved around some chivalrous, heroic person and heroic deeds, etc. And now the days are over. It has turned, exactly the opposite, in the opposite direction. And to become chivalrous never pays here in these circumstances. Even police will hold you responsible for anything which ensues from that. Right?
Yeah.
Anything else? Yes, please.
Assalamu alaikum, Huzur.
Wa alaikum assalam wa rahmatullah.
Huzur, the